We continue our coverage on the border crisis. House Republicans traveled to Texas Wednesday to hear testimony from border officials and residents impacted by the situation at the southern border. It's their second border security related congressional hearing so far this year to be held in Texas. Democrats on the Homeland Security Committee boycotted this hearing, calling it a politicized event. For more on this border situation, we are joined by Lora Ries. She is the director of the Heritage Foundation's Border Security and Immigration Center. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
First question is just a layup here. What did you think of yesterday's hearing? What's your takeaway?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway for me was that Border Patrol Chief Ortiz talked about a new fourth leg of their operations. Border Patrol always asks for three things: personnel, technology, and infrastructure. But yesterday, he talked about a new fourth leg, and that is the processing enterprise, which I've never heard before in the decades that I have done this line of work. But what it tells us is that their job has become processing millions of illegal aliens into the country. They've spent billions of dollars on joint processing centers to do it, and as well as pay NGOs to help them do it. And that was just the most surprising thing to me.
Well, I remember a report a while ago from Border Patrol agents who were not very happy, who were saying, you know, we got into this job to sort of protect the border, and now we're almost babysitters for children and other people that are coming across the border. And this is not what a lot of them signed up for. Do you think that that is contributing here, a lack of morale based on the number of people that they have to process on a regular basis?
Absolutely. This is not at all what they signed up for. They view themselves now as travel agents. In fact, they even put CBP luggage tags on the bags of the migrants. So many have retired, resigned, and unfortunately, they have a very high number of suicides last year in the Border Patrol. It's awful to see. It is such an honorable job. It is so difficult. And you know, your hearts go out to these agents, and you commend anyone from, you know, members of Congress to just regular Americans to think about what these agents do, including their families. And so they need to be able to enforce the law that is on the books, and this administration has completely tied their hands.
And speaking of that, there was a question yesterday that stuck out. It was when Raul Ortiz was asked about operational control at the border. We have that soundbite now. Let's play it.
Chief Ortiz, does DHS have operational control of our entire border?
No, sir.
And now, as our Robert Sherman mentioned earlier in the day, that really contradicts what DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said. That, of course we do. He said that last year, so things may have changed. But what do you make of the CBP chief saying, no, we're not in control of the border?
Well, he's telling the truth, and Secretary Mayorkas has not been telling the truth. I've lost count how many times Secretary Mayorkas has said we have operational control of the border is secure, the border is closed. It's just not believable for any Americans that have eyes to see. And so I suspect at the next hearing, Secretary Mayorkas will be asked that same question, and we'll all be curious to know how he answers. But this is just one of many reasons why Secretary Mayorkas deserves to be impeached. He merits it. He has not only refused to uphold the law, he has violated the law. He is making up the law. He has lost the trust of the American public, and he has lied to Congress and the American people under oath.
But if they change the law and change the resources, could the DHS, the entire department, not just CBP, but could DHS do a better job of handling the border, and may it not be necessary to change leadership if you're able to change the legislation?
Well, in most cases, they don't even need to change the legislation. They just need to enforce the laws that are on the books. That would go about 85% of the way. Congress still needs to close a few loopholes that the cartels and unfortunately this administration are exploiting. If those loopholes were closed, such as how long aliens can be detained more than 20 days, not abusing asylum and defrauding our asylum system, and treating all unaccompanied alien children the same, regardless of what country they were from, that would completely turn around this situation, but that requires the political will by this administration to do it.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation in your cable lineup. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-based, unbiased coverage.